to all of you. I'm joined by Mr. Swaz Chakma. I'm joined by my input editor, Brijesh Pandey. I'm joined by my colleague, Pankaj Mishra. Today is an important day. All party delegation is going. All party delegation consists of a lot of people. I'll just read out the name. Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary from the Congress Party, Gaurav Gogoi from Congress, Rajiv Ranjan, JDU, Sushmita Dev, TMC, Kanimoi, DMK, Sandosh Kumar, CPI, A. Rahim, CPIM, Manoj Kumar, RJD, Javed Ali Khan, SP, Mahua Maji, JMM, Mohammad Fazal, NCP, Anil Prasad Hegde, JDU, Mohammad Bashir, IUML, Premchandran, RSP, Sushil Gupta, AAP, Arvind Sawant, Shiv Sena, Ravi Kumar, BCK, Thirumavalan Balanan, PCK, Jayant Singh, RLD, and Kulo Devi Netam, Indian National Congress. So all of them are going there. So Haji, my question to you is, what are they going to achieve? Will they get access there? Rahul Gandhi had gone there. Substantially, these all-party delegations and meetings are happening, uh, but it doesn't seem to be changing political activity on ground. It's not igniting some sort of a local political activity, which is very much required for things to happen.
Well, I think it's more to keep
Can you
the
unmute
issue.
yourself? Can you unmute yourself?
No,
Were you able to hear my question? Can you unmute yourself? Brijesh, can you take that question?
can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. So what I was saying, this visit of the parliamentarian is basically to keep the issue alive and to put the pressure on the prime minister that they should come around to find a solution to this issue. It is not so much about uh, providing solution to the problem or change the politics, because at the end of the day it's the BJP which has to decide, the government of India which has to decide, but the role of the opposition is to keep the issue alive. I think the very fact that we are here to discuss the issue b- basically means that everybody will be picking up this particular story, and whatever has been happening and whatever has not been happening in terms of the lack of response from the government of India. I think that issue brings, I mean, in a way to the spotlight, and they have already, as per the news reports, various news reports, they have access in terms of. I don't think the Manipur government can deny access, so they will be having access to both the communities, visiting some of the relief camps, etc. But I would say, I think, in terms of keeping the issue alive, keeping the focus on the issue today, I think the visit is quite important.
Okay. Brijesh?
Well, Karthike, see, the thing is that, what is happening there, the BJP has been able to, if I would say so, gain acceptance in the majority community by kind of, projecting itself as a law and order issue, as an issue where, crime against women has taken place. Now, if you look at the narrative which is there by the BJP, put forth by the BJP, the issue is about the crime against women and how it takes place in various Congress ruled state as well. I think the real problem of Manipur, what Manipur is facing, has taken a slight backseat. And this is reflecting in the kind of conversation which we are hearing in the last week, 10 days, ever since that horrific video has come forward. Now, instead of the problem between the two ethnicities, the real problem, the problem of land, various problems related to, to both sides, now it is being slowly turned around, Karthike, to a problem where now the big scope is, or the big angle is, the crime against women. And this is where the BJP wants to take the narration to. Apart from it, politically also, Biren Singh, by offering to resign, or rather by willingly to be seen as, leader of one side, which is the Maitai community, he has also played gallery to the majority of the Manipur population, which is the Maitai population. And I think, if you look at politically, if you look at statistically, or if you look at the number of MLAs the Maitai community has, I think politically BJP sits at a decent stage, which it was not, say a 15-20 days back. So I honestly don't think that this is going to damage BJP politically at all. This visit by 21 member of parliaments from various political parties, which makes INDIA. And the BJP knows it, and that is the reason why, of late you see in the last 1 week, the narrative has, from Manipur, it has shifted completely to the crime against women.
Pankaj, very warm welcome to you that you will be able to make time at the last minute. Last Sunday,
Thank you.
we were talking. Last Sunday, you remember, uh, we were talking about issues like school opening, and then in between our team went there. The More happened. Uh, Today, the all-party meeting is going to be there. Rahul Gandhi had already been there. The NCW chief has already been there. But when I was going through the footage and when I was going through the bites, one thing is very very clear. All party
Hmm.
meetings can go there and record things, but the parties themselves have become some sort of, in a way, casualty of this unrest. The cadre of the parties decided. I can now say this. I had shared this with Brijesh when Congress party in Parliament tried to organize the meeting of the lawmakers. They could not get the Kuki and the Methi leaders to sit together in one room. So even if the all party meeting goes there,
Hmm.
मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि अपने लीडर्स को एक कमरे में बिठा कैसे पाएंगे, because this experiment failed in Delhi and I know it.
All right. See, Kartikeya, more than the opposition, as of now, it's the time of the government to bring both the parties to the talking table. And if opposition, despite being on the sidelines, despite being on the fringes, is making repeated attempts to actually galvanize, if not the two warring factions, but at least those who are affected by it, I think it's a positive step. We saw Rahul Gandhi going there, and I could feel it, certain sense of change in narrative. If you look at the mainstream media, also the kind of questioning that is happening, especially after that video came out, coupled with Rahul Gandhi being the first one from the opposition ranks to go there. I think certainly there is a pressure building up on the government. As of now, there is not much of direct interference as far as physical visit is concerned. But as we know that Manipur's law and order situation, and to a certain extent all the administrative measures are being governed by the center. The armed forces, the civil forces are there. With what transpired in that video and the visuals that we are showing of Moray, this exactly shows the intensity. Initially, these visuals were not available, but now with the certain relaxation, a little relaxation in the internet feed also, this has become more and more, pronounced now. And time and again, the government is being cornered and has been asked to answer what is happening in the parliament. The government is, the opposition is unrelenting. They have put their foot down. We saw how Aam Aadmi Party's Sanjay Singh has been camping outside the parliament. These small measures, although they come as a failure of the opposition. I mean, Sanjay Singh being, suspended for the rest of the monsoon session does not augur well for Aam Aadmi Party, but then it sends a message also that, hey, look, there is someone who is actually sticking his neck out. Likewise, this conglomerate of parties that is going there, I think it sends out a message that भाई वहां जाकर भी तो स्थिति को देखें, जायजा लें. I mean, there are so many incidents. I mean, Balasore, I remember when the train accident happened, the railway minister was quick to go there, and that actually placated the sentiments. So, likewise, this visit also by any party leader assumes a lot of significance, Kartikeya, in my view.
Okay, but Suhaji, apart from this, after the Moray, a lot of the conversation veered to a different direction, and the conversation was, then tell me if this is a perception, or this is the fake news which is being circulated in the valley. I want you to comment on it. I am not asking you this as a fact. A lot of people are saying that the present disturbances Moray has led to induction of commandos of a particular community, because of which cookies are feeling even more sidelined. Is it fake news, propaganda? ये क्या बात है? ये बात कहाँ से आ रही है बार बार? कि मेथी कमांडोज आ गए, what is this, what is this story?
See, if you look at the conflict from the beginning, there was a clash between, not clash, there was, I mean, some kind of huge argument between the Manipur police force and the Central Armed Forces, Assam Rifles personnel. So, I mean, if you look at the situation, you will see that, you know, thousands of arms were lost. It cannot be a coincidence that, I mean, thousands of arms could be lost. And if you look at the FIRs, which we are accessed by Indian Express, and the police, we are reporting that, you know they tried to use tear gas and etc. Now somebody snatching your arms, you do not deal with tear gases. So in a way, if we look at it, I think from the beginning, I think so many people have said in your programs also, there is no human being out there. There is no human being out there. They are either mates or they are either cookies. So there are no doctors, no engineers, no intellectual who is independent or impartial. And the society has been divided in such a manner. It will not be a surprise that people who are in the government of Manipur but serving the particular communities. So that is why the visit remains very important, because irrespective of what the government of India might be saying, one thing is very clear: they are not in a position to ensure or to assure to the cookies that you can return back to the Imphal Valley and serve in the Imphal Valley. And you cannot also assure the mates, including the police personnel, to go and serve in the uh, hills. So we will come to a situation where the government of India had been paying salaries to the persons belonging to the Kashmiri Pandits who could no longer serve in Jammu and Kashmir because they had to flee, but they were settled outside the state. That was okay because the Kashmiri Pandits were a very small number of population. But when you are talking about the entire state of Manipur, where cookies are a substantial population, and for you to reach to the Naga inhabited areas in Mori and etc., you have to pass through the cookie inhabited areas. So cookies are really in the middle. Then I don't think it's feasible. So the government of India might feel, or the BJP might feel, that they have been able to distract or trivialize the entire rape issue in Manipur, because it's completely different. Nowhere you have a situation where security forces have lost 6 lakhs ammunition, or 500,000 arms.
That's a very
In
good point.
Yeah,
That's a very good point.
they are basically trivializing, and everybody knows that they are trivializing. And even what I mean, Anurag, the minister Anurag had mentioned in the morning, it's trivializing the issue. There are rapes across the country. There are enormous amount of violence against women, but those are different from the conflict situation. And I would say, I think people shouldn't be surprised if you know police personnel, government servants from both sides, come and actually try to enforce the law in on behalf of one particular community. As I say, there is nobody who is independent, because everybody there belongs to the community. So should not be surprised. It may or may not be fake news, but in reality, that is the way it functions.
Okay, Swati, these are the visuals of the delegation. This is TV, whether you like it or not. This is like, I'm not saying it's reality TV, but that's how intrusive TV has become. This is Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary. किसी ने बना लिए प्लेन के अंदर इनके visuals, and it has been circulated. This is the power of the modern
Information
TV.
technology.
So yes, yes. So उसमें Gaurav Gogoi and other people were there. So someone made a small clip of them. So yes, they are going to be there. I don't know. I don't know what sort of access Brijesh they will have. Like Gaurav Gogoi is here. I don't know what sort of access he is going to have. What is going to be the feedback? Is it correct that the debate in the 267 section of the Rajya Sabha has been rejected by the government on ground that it happens on a very rare basis. Is it correct? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, the government has not agreed to the debate because under 267 the debate can go on for a couple of days, and where a lot many people get to voice their opinion, what they feel about what is happening in the state of Manipur, and where all they find the government lacking completely, or lacking the empathy, or lacking the wherewithal to deal with the situation as it is folding in the state of Manipur, and that could be embarrassing. What we have been given to understand is that the government has geared itself up for the no confidence motion, and the prime minister, in all likelihood, is going to make the statement right at the end of the no confidence motion, because BJP is very clear. I mean, the numbers are
Sorry, I'm
hugely stacked in
interrupting you. You
favor.
say, are you saying that no confidence motion can happen next week, Brijesh?
Yes, no confidence motion is most likely to take place next week. And
Oh,
what
oh.
we've been given to understand by our sources is that the prime minister is also going to speak in that no confidence motion. He's going to be the last speaker. And if the first day bite of sound bite of Prime Minister Narendra Modi is any indication to go by, and the subsequent the built up of narrative, as I said at the start of the show, is any indication to go by, Kartike, then the chances are that the BJP is likely to hit out at Congress's own past record, where the northeastern states underwent a massive state of turmoil. Hundreds of lives were lost. There was a Kuki Naga battle, and various stages of disturbance which engulfed the northeastern state. Apart from that, the government is also likely to make the issue of crime against women. As I said, they will also raise the issue of the crime against women, which has taken place in the state of West Bengal, in the state of Rajasthan, and a couple of other places, because the government feels that that yes, what is happening in Manipur is unfortunate, but right now is not the time for Congress to play politics. And if the Congress is playing politics, then it is imperative on us to keep the slate, to show or tell their electorate that this is not the first time this is happening. Northeast has suffered a lot more under the leadership of Congress. Ikram Aibobi is one thing which, whenever he speaks about violence in the state of Manipur, you have the entire BJP machinery up in arm against him, saying that it would be great if you guys ask him a question about how things happened, or what was the situation under his leadership. So I mean, both political parties have a lot to answer, but I think the BJP feels that this no confidence motion which the Congress wants to bring in, and interestingly, Kartike, we have been given to understand that not many, their partners, their alliance partners, are also very happy, because they know the outcome, and they know that if Prime Minister speaks the last, and going by his oratory skills and scoring one-upmanship as far as the Congress is concerned, it could very well end to be a lost cause as for the Congress.
Pankaj, I was also noticing one thing, that
Hmm.
the government overtly has taken a position whereby I can say that it makes Methi politicians happy, but then there is also practicality which has been demonstrated, and all of them are touched with the so-called the cookie groups. But वो कहते हैं ना कि जैसे फॉरेन पॉलिसी के लिए एक political appetite की जरूरत होती है. जैसे for example, Jaishankar said that the misadventure of China on LSE has eroded public trust in India. People
Hmm.
will not support if we try to have a conversation with you. So I'm saying that for any sort of a cross conversation with Sioux militants, is there a public appetite for it? Is there a public trust for it? Shouldn't the government be building that public appetite कि किसी से भी बात कीजिए, सबसे बात कीजिए, but restore normalcy. जैसे कि लोगोवाल अकॉर्ड में हुआ था, लालडेंगा अकॉर्ड हुआ था,
Hmm.
वाजपेयी में वो जमहूरियत वाली बात आई थी, कश्मीरियत वाली, to build that public appetite for a talk with the cross section of the society. First to you and then to Suhas ji.
Right, Kartike. See, Kartike, in this situation, the kind of fix that we are witnessing as of now on Manipur, there are two aspects to it. One is microcosmic, which is that of Manipur itself, and one is macrocosmic, which is rest of the India. Now, for the government, it is a two-pronged war. first, it has to keep Manipur under control, bring Manipur under control, and have peace there. That's priority number one. And secondly, it is the image overall on how the government is being viewed as far as look east policy is concerned. Now, why this aspect is crucial? Because just as these members boarded the flight, as we are showing from Delhi to Imphal, Union Minister Anurag Thakur was quick to say कि अभी तो ये लोग वहां उठ के जा रहे हैं, लेकिन जब उनके कार्यकाल में नॉर्थ ईस्ट वाज बर्निंग, व्हाट डिड दे डू? नाउ अगेन, बीजेपी विद दिस स्टेटमेंट इज प्लेसिंग देमसेल्फ एंड गोइंग बैक इन टाइम एंड प्लेसिंग देमसेल्फ इन द ऑपोजिशन शूज. आज की डेट में अगर ऑपोजिशन वही बात उठा रहा है, if they are doing it, then I think it is politically completely justified. If they are in opposition, we cannot expect them to make administrative changes. What they can do is to raise certain voices, raise the right voices at the right place at the right time, and be there for the people. At least that's what public representatives should do. Now, the question here is whether Congresses and this whole gamut of India bloc, whether it is able to cut the eyes with the locals. I think at least they are giving it a fair try. होता है नहीं होता है, ये तो हमने पिछली बार भी देखा था. राहुल गांधी जाना चाह रहे थे पैदल रास्ते ताकि ज्यादा people support मिलता, but then he was stopped in Imphal. Then he had to take a chartered flight to the relief camps that he was going there because citing security reasons. But जो हो रहा है, which is happening for certain on the ground, slowly but surely, is a narrative that is taking shape कि हाँ भाई, फिजिकली तो हमें कोई मूवमेंट नजर नहीं आ रही है सरकार की तरफ से. सीबीआई की जांच होगी, ठीक है, बहुत बढ़िया बात है. मोरे में जो वायलेंस हुआ उस पर भी चर्चा हुई. बट अनलेस यू आर देयर, unless you make some movements or steps being taken which can be seen, जो definite हो, तब तक I don't think the narrative is going to favor the government. Yes, they are in the government, they are in power, they have to do something. But opposition, I think, is making the right moves as of now, not politicizing it. At least, see, you and I have been the simple humble citizens of this country. हमने भी क्या देखा है? हमने भी यही देखा है कि हाँ भाई, राजनेता आते हैं, भाषण देते हैं, चले जाते हैं. वोट तो हमें ही देते हैं, हम ही चुनते हैं उन्हें. So at least if people have voted, let them at least take this step. At least they are not conspicuous by their absence. That is the point that I thought I'll make.
Suhasji.
No, I think this is a game which BJP has lost completely and is going to impact them severely inside Manipur as well as across the country. You know, whatever the BJP says, including what Anurag Thakur said in the morning, as I said, it is trivializing the issue. And some of the statements which were released prior to the hearing or scheduled hearing which will take place in the Supreme Court, saying that there were riots in among the Kukis and the Nagas in 92, 93. Look, in 92, 93, there was no information technology. If I recall correctly, none of the BJP politicians raised this issue. Northeast did not exist for the BJPs. So, at this stage, if you raise those issues, it makes no sense. People do not remember. And somebody who has come from the Northeast, I can tell you, people did not think us as Northeasterners.
सुहासी, आपने काफी बड़ी बात कह दी. आपने बोला है कि it's going to irretrievably damage them, BJP in Northeast.
Yes. No, if I just could fit, yeah.
They are sitting pretty in Assam. Arunachal is okay. Tripura is okay.
I would say this, that after this particular video of the women being paraded and sexually assaulted and left on gang rape, it has entered into the psyche of everybody. So irrespective of whatever you say, that is going to remain. Without that particular video, people of India would not have known. So even if you go to a shop, anywhere you go, people, if they look at me or if they know, they will always ask me what is happening out there. So it is one particular video. You could say possibly at least 25% of the Indians who have seen this felt absolutely outraged, and it has entered in our psyche. So that's the identification of the BJP as far as Manipur is concerned. And now why they will suffer? Because an atmosphere has been created, a perception has been created. BJP is not acting, and they will not be able to act precisely because the conflict in the Northeast, ethnic conflict, tribalism, is much more deep rooted than the religious conflict which you have between the Hindus and Muslims. So this is a conflict on which nobody can force in any manner. And I can say this with all knowledge and expertise I have. The government of India is not even in a position to tell the cookie armed groups saying that you behave in this particular way. They cannot behave. They cannot ensure that because there is so much of arms and people are armed with the teeth. So they are not going to listen to a particular commander belonging to a group. Rather it's a risk for a particular armed group if they compromise the identity of the community or the interest of the community. And when you have indirectly, Chief Minister of Manipur raising the issue of, Greater Joland or Jomiland, Greater Mizoram, etc., which was published today in the Hindustan Times, you could see that the cookies might be very small in Manipur, but cookies have one particular state which is supporting them, that is Manipur. And Manipur is connected, I mean, those are the areas which the Métis cannot enter. So this conflict will continue, I would say, till the next election or possibly beyond that.
Really? Till next
Absolutely.
election?
Absolutely. There is no way you can
Are
stop
you
this
are you are
conflict.
you saying Suhasji, are you saying that this will also be creating a bearing on the Mizoram election?
Mizoram, see, in any case, at least one election where BJP has no say, doesn't matter, cannot even enter, that is Mizoram. They have
Okay.
only one MLA who is a Chakma. Next time, they are possibly also not going to win there because the MNF has captured all the Chakma areas. So it doesn't matter in Manipur. But what I can say with certainty is that none of the armed groups, none of the political parties can make Métis and the cookies sit together. So the problem is, if you look at today, all the MLS in Manipur, the ruling party, they belong to the BJP. So the cookies are also BJP, Métis are also BJP, but BJP cannot have one party meeting, of the party MLS. It is not possible and feasible because people have been killed. So that is why this conflict is going to go for a long period of time, and the state collapse will come out because at certain stage the question will be asked why the normalcy cannot return, because the cookies will not come back to serve in uh, Métis areas, Métis will not go to serve in cookie areas, and incidents like which took place in More will continue to take place. It is not taking place for only one reason, because the interaction between the communities is less. So the areas which is between the hills and the valley, where you have certain mixed population, you have to continuously barricade these areas, create the buffer zone, or continue to keep this buffer zone for a long period of time. But if you ask me, I do not see any possibility of resolution of this conflict, because the moment you say as the status being given to the Métis, Nagas will join. And if you talk about giving autonomy to the cookies, Manipur will burn, because you remember that the state assembly was burned down when ceasefire was extended beyond, the Nagaland, where only the Naga inhabited areas was included. When people thought, the Métis thought that,
Let's
the
say you
Naga
have a point,
inhabited areas.
Suhasji, when I speak to a lot of people, the Maitis have a different history for Manipur, the Nagas have a different imagination of the state, and equally the Kukis have a different
Yes,
imagination of the state. The same event is interpreted in three different ways. But एक event,
absolutely.
one place, you have three parallel contesting histories. People will say, no, this was erected because Kukis participated in a war. The other guy would say, no, ये तो ऐसे ही गेट बना दिया, ये हर जगह जाके गेट बना देते हैं. And I'm like, अरे ऐसे कैसे बन सकता है? And the Nagas will have a different perspective on that same position. So I mean to say, the solidness of the fact, जिसे कहते हैं कि one fact it's not there. I'm not saying that it's not there in other, but in Manipur it is unique. It's spectacularly unique position. Brijesh, you recall that thing on the Chula Chandpur, the gate thing. When we were having that conversation that the gate was burnt down. So one gentleman said that, yeah, वो तो सिर्फ gate था. Others said no, it was a symbol. It was a symbol of our war heroic. तो कहने का मतलब है कि every part of the history becomes contested.
Well, Karthikeya, it has always been in all part of the world. Not something which is unique to Manipur. What is one person's freedom fighter is another person's terrorist, and that is how the narrations have always shaped up. Whenever you look at one ethnicity or another ethnicity, one religion versus another religion. What is interesting is that and one question which I would like to ask Mr. Chakma is that he was saying that this is going to impact BJP. But I really want to understand from him is that given the fact that that the Meiteis, which are majority in population, and more importantly, they have 40 MLAs strength. How does he see BJP getting impacted in this fight which is going on between the two ethnicity, which is Kuki and the Meiteis? Mr. Chakma?
No, I think, I mean, the first issue is, I think, nationally speaking, there is a perception that this government, run by somebody who claims to have a 56-inch chest, is actually an incompetent fellow. Because you cannot bring riots in a state under control even after 2.5 months, 3 months. So the perception has been created in the country that BJP kuch nahi kar sakta hai. It's there, and if this kind of violence takes place, and in the what to say, in the Imphal Valley, I would say whenever the Manipur election takes place, by that time, for the situation, by the time the election takes place, will much more be under control. And then the Northeast, please remember, if there is a change in the central government, there is a change in the entire state. All the politicians in the Northeast who are shouting BJP, BJP today, including the most prominent leader, I don't want to mention, the day there is a change of the government here, they will change there. So the allegiance to a national political party in the Northeast is actually very temporary. So I think what is more critical for the government of the India and the BJP is what perception is being created by the Manipur riots. So imagine if the Manipur riots continue and the conflict
But
continue to come
Mr.
in.
Suhas,
Yes.
I'm extremely sorry. We don't interrupt our guests and all, but I just wanted to butt in and ask you one question. I agree that theoretically, there are impressions which is being created on the ground. But if you look at the population percentage, there is also an attempt to twist this and make it a religious conflict. Conflict between Hindus and Christians. There's that attempt also going, and I don't see. Do you seriously see BJP losing the perception battle when it turns into a Hindu versus Christian, sir?
No, I don't think in the Northeast ethnicity is so strong that it really religion actually doesn't matter so much. I mean, I would say that even on the issue of the ST, not many Métis are actually interested in that. It just had come up, somebody has filed a PIL. So I don't think the religion card, Hindus versus Muslims, will be a factor. It's all said and done. Maybe Métis had opted not to be scheduled tribes, but their mentality is as tribal as anybody else, whether Cookies or the Nagas. So tribalism is deep rooted, and it's tribalism is so overwhelming that it doesn't matter whether you are a Muslim, whether you are a Christian, or you are a Hindu. It is a conflict between the Meitei ethnic community and the Kuki ethnic community. That is what matters. And if you look at it, the reaction of the groups based in Kachar district, Barak Valley, where they have asked the Mijos to leave from the Barak Valley after the Métis were driven out from Mizoram. Majority of the population, the Manipuris in Barak Valley, they are Bishnupriya Manipuris. They are not Métis. So the ethnic identity is much more stronger than, I would say, the religious identity.
Okay. Okay. Brijesh, if your question is over, can I play out a bite of Anurag Thakur?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let's play out the bite of Anurag Thakur, and after some time, I want to play out the bite of Gaurav Gogoi once Ashutosh has readied it. So, Ashutosh, please play out the bite of Anurag Thakur.
D.I.A के कुछ सहयोगी दल जो इस प्लेटफॉर्म के साथ जुड़े हैं वो गए हैं मणिपुर में। ये लोग और इनकी सरकारों के समय मणिपुर जब जलता था, कई महीनों बंद रहता था, उस समय इनके नेता तो संसद में बोलते तक नहीं थे। इनके तो राज्य मंत्री तक बयान देते थे जब सैकड़ों लोगों की हत्याएं वहां पे हो गई। 6-6 महीने मणिपुर बंद रहता था, तब इनके मुंह से आवाज नहीं निकलती, मुंह में दही जम जाता था। और आज ये I.N.D.I.A के जो सदस्य हैं, ये मणिपुर से जब वापस आए तो मेरा निवेदन है, संसद तो आप चलने नहीं देंगे तो अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी अपने पश्चिम बंगाल प्रदेश में भी लाइए। मेरा सवाल अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी से है, जो इस डेलीगेशन के सदस्य हैं, कि क्या पश्चिम बंगाल में हो रही महिलाओं के खिलाफ अपराध, हत्याएं के साथ वो सहमत हैं? क्या वो मानते हैं कि ममता बनर्जी जी के राज में सब ठीक ठाक है? क्या यहाँ पर जो हजारों लोगों को मार पीट कर पश्चिम बंगाल से भगाया गया, उनको घायल किया गया और 57 से ज्यादा लोगों की हत्याएं हुई, हत्या के रास्ते सत्ता अपनाने का काम ममता बनर्जी के राज में अगर होता है तो क्या इसके खिलाफ कांग्रेस के नेता अधीर रंजन चौधरी और कांग्रेस पार्टी है? और क्या I.N.D.I.A के ये सदस्य यहाँ पर भी अधीर रंजन चौधरी जी लाएंगे? दूसरा सवाल मेरा ये है, राजस्थान में जो हत्याएं हो रही, जो दुष्कर्म महिलाओं के साथ हो रहा है, जो कानून व्यवस्था की स्थिति बिल्कुल चरमरा गई, तो क्या वहां पर भी लड़की हूं, लड़ सकती हूं तो नहीं गई? राहुल जी दुनिया भर को अपना ज्ञान पीटते थे, वो तो नहीं गए। तो क्या I.N.D.I.A इनके ये 20 लोग जो गए हैं मणिपुर, क्या वो भी राजस्थान आएंगे? और ये क्या I.N.D.I के ये सदस्य बंगाल और राजस्थान पर भी अपनी रिपोर्ट देंगे?
So this was Anurag Thakur. And Anurag Thakur, got the India thing in. This India thing, मुझे लगता है चुप गया.
I was about to point that out to Karthik because initially people started there saying that India is this and that, and it didn't went down well, and that is the reason I think now they have started stating the acronym as it is as I.N.D.I.A rather than going India and then. So that is the reason. If you remember the discussion, we thought that opposition coming up together with this kind of acronym is actually a very well thought out strategy as far as them is concerned.
BJP has been stumped completely and they do not know how to react to it.
I know.
Sorry, Karthik. I was just mentioning, as an outsider's point of view, if I may, give you a view and observation. The term whataboutery is also very much there. When we talk about social media and the way it is branded, the way it is tagged and mentioned to reach maximum people, whataboutery is also something that is finding a lot of mention. And this particular aspect of वहां चले गए तो पहले वेस्ट बंगाल में देखिए, अगर आपको वेस्ट बंगाल की चिंता है, आप गवर्नर को वहां फोन कीजिए, आप वहां ममता बनर्जी से डायरेक्ट सवाल कीजिए. Mamata Banerjee, when she responds in the similar coin, obviously, right from the washing machine politics to everything, the BJP at times finds itself hunting for answers. Now, for democratically elected chosen leaders visiting a conflicting zone, I don't see any problem there. But then it is, once again, the ruling government is responding and, taking it in a political light. And again mentioning Rajasthan, West Bengal, yes, होता है बिल्कुल, देश में ऐसा है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है और ये गलत है. हर जगह इसकी निंदा होनी चाहिए. बट उसके लिए क्या प्रयास किए जा रहे हैं? एटलीस्ट फॉर वन, मणिपुर के लिए प्रयास हो रहे हैं.
Pankaj, this is governor of Manipur. She's in a relief camp, Chura Chandpur. And sorry, I'm interrupting you. So governor of Manipur is in Chura Chandpur relief camp. Ji? Anusuiya Uikey. Anusuiya Uikey. She's in Chura Chandpur, and let me tell the viewers of News9 that the all-party delegation will also visit the same camp. They will also be going to Chura Chandpur camp. Suhaji, I want to know one thing. कि जितना भी delegation है, ये सब चूरा चांदपुर जा रहा है. why isn't it going to the northern areas like Kangpoki and other areas, the Naga dominated areas? जो north में वहाँ access नहीं है क्या?
I think, I mean, accessibility is an issue, and this is much easier to reach. And in case of problems, then you can take the helicopters and etc. So that's one of the reasons why people prefer to go to Churachandpur rather than the other areas,
So
because it.
I was just thinking everyone is going to the southern part of the Manipur. Not many people have gone to the northern part. Is there a difference?
No, also I think the see. I mean, I think the whole message is to visit both the sides. If you go to Imphal Valley, which is always the allegation that you are only talking to the Meiteis. So if you want to talk to the Cookies, of course you have to go to the headquarters of the Cookies. That's the Churachandpur district. So that's the reason I think why. I mean, I would tend to believe that that's why the Churachandpur is chosen than any other district which is having mixed population. Uh, I would say I think that's the reason.
Okay. Brijesh, tell me, now since the all-party delegation is there, do you hear any murmur that the BJP is also going to send some senior MPs? ये सही बात है या हवा हवाई है ये भी?
I think not much has been firmed up as we speak about BJP sending its MPs to visit the area because it's a BJP ruled state. But I think the BJP is what it is gearing up big is the no confidence motion, and that is the reason why it has brought in whips and also instruction to the MLA to the I beg your pardon to the MPs both in Rajya Sabha as well as Lok Sabha to make sure that they are present and ensure that a very resounding defeat is handed over to the opposition, and that is the reason why they are also in touch with other opposition parties. Like lately, YSRCP has announced that it will support the government on this particular no confidence motion. So they are also trying to to break away a couple of parties from INDA, IA, which they feel will lead a body blow to the unity of the opposition. So basically, right now the biggest concern is to have as many numbers possible on their side, because they feel that with a politically debilitating defeat to the Congress-led this conglomeration, they will be able to send a very strong message to the community, to its electorate, and cadre that irrespective of the noise which the Congress and others are making, the BJP still remains an unsurmountable foe as far as the opposition is concerned, and also will tell that that irrespective of whether they are making any kind of a UPA like structure, it is not going to work well for the Congress. So I think that is the right now the top priority as far as Congress, as far as the BJP is concerned, Karthikeyan.
And in these 90 days, one thing is very, very clear that yes, BJP has decided not to change Biren Singh as the chief minister. But going forward, do you think that they can continue to stay with him with one thing very clear, that the cookies are not going to come on board with him being there? What sort of a
Well,
long-term play you?
Karthikeya, as I have been maintaining right from the start, the chances of Biren Singh going is very less. Now it is being picked up by others and all. People are saying, "Oh, this is the reason why Biren Singh is going. That is the reason why Biren Singh will not go." I have been saying right from the word go. Right from the third or fourth or fifth, I think, May
I agree with
onwards.
you. I agree with you. तुम
That
कह रहे थे
this is
बार-बार कि वो
not
नहीं जाएगा.
the way BJP functions, and they would not want to send. See, the biggest thing is that they would not want to send a message, Karthikeya, to people at large that you can pressurize Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and that is the reason why all kind of dialogues, all kind of source-based info, all kind of source-based info from connected member of legislative assemblies and everybody coming to us. Ultimately it led to nowhere. And right now, Biren Singh, by that when his resignation letter was torn and all that spectacle has further cemented his stature as a mighty
Drama is the
leader.
word.
Do you,
Drama is the word.
well, I mean, yes, drama is the word, but do you seriously see BJP fiddling with that kind of narrative or drama or whatever you want to call it right now? When a majority mighty feels comfortable with Biren Singh around, and if you look at the kind of conversation which happened on Kargil Vijay, there was something which I discussed with we discussed with Suhas Shakma ji yesterday and day before as well. What the statement like that I will fight till last blood drop in my veins against any and will not cede even an inch of territorial integrity and territory of Manipur. When the question was asked about separate administration, now the cookies are asking for separate state. Do you seriously think that BJP would want to fiddle with him? I don't see him going
मुझको
anywhere.
तो एक ही चीज
Till the
पता है,
situation.
बाकी कुछ हो ना हो, जोरमथांगा इस साल के एंड में चुनाव स्वीप कर जाएंगे.
Absolutely.
मतलब
And
कांग्रेस
this is
का
also something.
कुछ होना हो,
देखिए,
जोरमथांगा जी विल बी बैक विद बैंग. बिना कुछ किए उन्होंने
बिल्कुल
वो जो कहते हैं ना कि वो अपने
See, it is playing out
से
well, Kartikeya. It is. I just
जैसे
take 30
इस्तेमाल होता
seconds
था
of
ना,
yours.
हिंदू हृदय
It is.
सम्राट इस्तेमाल होता था, वो
It
कुकी
is
जिन
playing
हृदय
out well
सम्राट
only
बन
for
के
two
वो
people.
he is there, he has, मतलब he has become the symbol of it. वो ट्वीट करते
I'll
हैं.
just take 30 seconds, Kartikeya. It is playing
Go ahead,
out
go ahead,
well
go
only
ahead, go
for
ahead.
two people. Only for two people. One is for Biren Singh, the other is for Zoram and for nobody else.
And BJP doesn't
You know,
mind it because both are from the
Sir,
NDA.
BJP is already, see, the point with the BJP right now is that the BJP is already taken all the negative heat it can. Its entire Act East policy
And
has been
जोरमथांगा
dealt
is
a
not
deadly
doing
blow.
anything. Only
So
thing he's saying
now
is
they
ये
what
गलत
they
हो रहा
want
है, ये
is they
गलत हो
want to
रहा है.
get the best of the current situation.
And British, only thing he's saying ये गलत हो रहा है, he gives one tweet, the tweet goes viral. And it's
बिल्कुल
not as if he's also pandering to the hardline sentiments. Zoran Tama criticizes the group which said
I mean,
that
you can't blame him, if he's coming from the
so
same
he's turning out to
ethnicity,
be a hero in Mizoram.
Yeah, absolutely.
देखिए,
Absolutely. I mean, you
I
can't,
would like
yeah,
to.
please, Pankaj.
Yes, sorry, Brijesh. See, I would like to make a point here. The bottom line, the crux of the matter is the word election. And चाहे वो एनडीए समर्थक, चलिए बीरेन सिंह तो बीजेपी के ही हैं, बट जोराम थांगा जो कि एनडीए के ही घटक दलों में आते हैं, चित भी मेरी पट भी मेरी वाली स्थिति है बीजेपी के पास, तो इसलिए उनका कोई देयर इज नो vehement opposition also to what Zoram Thanga, what Kartikeya is mentioning, a letter of a tweet that he posted with calling a spade a spade. I would say,
Letter of a
Brijesh,
tweet, yes.
yeah,
Letter
exactly.
of a tweet, yes.
And also, Brijesh, I would also like to draw attention towards the nature of BJP that we are talking about, that they are not going to take, a bullet, they are not going to cow down. Well, we have examples of Gujarat and Karnataka. When Vijay Rupani was changed, when B.S. Yediyurappa was also moved out, Basavaraj Bommai came into picture suddenly as the chief minister of Karnataka. All this was done because there were elections. But मणिपुर में चुनाव अभी चूंकि अभी नहीं है, इसलिए बीरेन सिंह को वहां रखकर इन अ वे बीजेपी इज शोइंग दैट यस वी हैव पुट आवर फुट डाउन और ये स्टैंड हमारा रहेगा. बट बीरेन सिंह एज अ कल्ट, एज अ पर्सनालिटी भी वी हैव टू कीप इन माइंड. माइटी हीरो फॉर श्योर, यस, बट कहीं बीरेन सिंह के लिए ये सिचुएशन इट शुड वेदर इट बिकम्स और एस्केलेट्स इनटू अ क्राउन ऑफ थॉर्न्स. जो ड्रामा हुआ 30 जून को, लेटर फाड़ दिया गया, सब कुछ हुआ, बीरेन सिंह तो निकल रहे थे रिजाइन करने के लिए. Suddenly a group of women came and they asked him to not to step down, and he chose not to step down. What about rest of the voices that have been asking for separate administration? So for पंच परमेश्वर, अगर आपको याद हो प्रेमचंद की वो लिखी हुई कहानी, जिसमें it clearly says when you are in a decision making position you can't be biased. वीरेन सिंह के लिए आगे चलकर कहीं यही अभी जो गले का हार है, whether it becomes an albatross around his neck, he should be very wary of that.
Pankaj, I agree with most of points which you made, but there's one point on which I don't agree, which is, why? The thing is that, it is very easy for the government to remove the chief minister and the entire cabinet in Gujarat. Because in Gujarat, I have covered 5 elections in Gujarat, 5 assembly elections in Gujarat. In Gujarat, there is only one person who contests election, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Even if you and I fight on BJP ticket and with Prime Minister voting first, trust me, we will win. So all I'm saying is that the situation is not that conducive for the BJP in Manipur as the situation is for the BJP in the state of Gujarat. And see what they did. They fiddled with the top man Yedurappa in Karnataka, and they lost the election badly.
लेकिन पता है पंकज, एक चीज और भी है. आई नो दिस इज नॉट वेरी सेंट्रल टू मणिपुर, बट इट इज इम्पैक्टिंग मणिपुर. बीजेपी के चीफ मिनिस्टर्स एंड सेंट्रल पॉलिटिशियंस का एक हार्डलाइनिंग भी हुआ है. एंड आई विल गिव यू एन एग्जांपल. You see, you look at the choice of Yogi Adityanath and his hardline position is known. Yogi Adityanath and his hardline position is known. And Brijesh, you can correct me अगर गलती से मैं कुछ गलत बोल रहा हूँ, काट देना मुझे. But the hardlining of Hemant Biswa Sarma, the words which were spoken by Anurag Thakur, the language which now is being employed by people like Dhami, the language which is being deployed by Shivraj Singh Chauhan. So there's a hard line. You see, the BJP had this image that you have some soft and then you have some hard people. But the mainstream has become hardline. So Biren Singh is also being cut from that same cloth. Biren Singh and Hemant Sarma are imports. But sometimes you're more loyal to the king than a king is to
Hmm.
the kingdom. तो कहने का मतलब आप बाहर से आए
And the
हैं
new
तो
convert
आप
is
ज्यादा
always more
बनवा कर
religious.
उनकी पॉलिटिक्स करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आप ज्यादा छाती ठोक के कर रहे हैं कि हम हार्ड
जी
लाइन है.
जी जी।
तो हार्ड लाइन है
हम्म।
वो उतना हार्ड लाइन नहीं हो रहा है पर आप हार्ड लाइन बनने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. आई एम द हार्ड लाइनर. जो हेमंत बिस्व शर्मा कर देते हैं, नेशनलिज्म की बात करते हैं, जो बीरेन सिंह कर रहे हैं या जो धामी करने लगे हैं यूसीसी को लेके, दिस इज अ ब्रॉडर स्ट्रेन इन इंडियन नेशनल पॉलिटिक्स. How can Manipur not be? How can Manipur be immune to it? Swazji, you wanted to come in?
No, I think, I mean, it's very natural, as Brajesh was saying, hardliners neo converts are always more radical than the original, followers. So it is expected. And I also can say in one sentence that these are the same people. If opportunity arises tomorrow, they will change their colors immediately. And that is why the criticism, uh, even of Himanta Biswa Sharma, of Rahul Gandhi, is very muted. Please take note of the fact that when Rahul Gandhi had, put the Twitter where he tried to link Himanta Biswa Sharma's name when I forgot this scam when it came out about 3 or 4 months back. He said, "I'll take to the court," and he stopped. If any other person, he will file a case. If it's Rahul Gandhi, you have to keep the doors open. So that's true of all politicians in the Northeast. There used to be only one member of state assembly in Arunachal Pradesh belonging to BJP, which was Governor Anusuiya. And once the NDA came to power, all the 39 shifted to the BJP. So in the Northeast, I want to be clear about one thing, that political parties, ethnic conflicts after a certain point of time, at least in electoral politics, do not matter. They change quite quickly, and in fact, the Manipur election is quite a long way off. So Biren Singh remains at risk, and as I think Pankaj was saying, this conflict would be a problem for him. At this point of time, he is safe. But at certain point of time, when normalcy returns, the same people who are not saying a single word against the Métis, so I mean, they will revolt against him because he was facing revolt also prior to this. So if you ask a Métis politician, are Métis MLS belonging to the Congress having a different opinion than the BJP MLS on the ground? Absolutely not. There is no difference between a Métis MLA, yes, sorry, BJP MLA and Congress MLA in Manipur if they belong to the community, because their views remain the same. So that's why the ethnic this conflict transcends, the tribalism transcends the real politics. And if we look at the Northeast India, if it becomes a liability, they will remove him, because that's why Biplab Dev also was removed from Tripura, and
Okay.
they were able to manage and win the elections because people in Tripura at certain point of time rejected the political violence which was under Biplab Dev, because
Okay.
people could not organize.
Swazji, just let me play out a bite of Gaurav Gogoi. एक बार वो bite. Ashutosh, please play the bite.
हम जा रहे हैं
गौरव
क्योंकि
गोगोई
आने
भाई।
वाले सप्ताह में हम लोकसभा और राज्यसभा में मणिपुर की बात रखना चाहते हैं। मणिपुर के लोगों पर जो गुजरी है उसके दर्द को, उनके चिंताओं को हम व्यक्त करना चाहते हैं और ये साबित करना चाहते हैं कि इंडिया अलायंस मणिपुर के साथ है। भाजपा का राष्ट्रवाद एक झूठा खोखला राष्ट्रवाद, उनको सिर्फ सत्तावाद पर विश्वास है। आज जो लोग वन इंडिया की बात करते हैं उन्होंने मणिपुर में 2 मणिपुर बना दिए हैं और प्रधानमंत्री आज भी मुख्यमंत्री को समर्थन करते हैं।
So this was Gaurav Gogoi. Gaurav Gogoi is now playing an important role in, I would say, the Congress politics in Lok Sabha. He's the lead there. But I think, keeping everything in mind, one thing is for sure, that the sort of immediate resolution which should have happened for Manipur, Swajji, I don't think it's going to happen, because what the state administration has done is that it has concretized the division by allowing to move out, settle, and create those buffer zones. You have actually created permanent settlements outside the original settlements. And the more
Absolutely.
you stay outside, the lesser the chances are there you come back to your original settlement.
No,
Swazdi.
yeah, no, I think, I mean, the kind of population transfer which we have seen, I don't think any country worth the salt will allow it. The responsibility of the government was to ensure citizens could remove in their areas. So today, if you go to Imphal, there is hardly any cookie you could find. You cannot find them, and so you cannot find metes in the hills. So what you have done, you have actually separated the entire state, and these killings will continue, or if they do not continue, distrust will be there. I don't think anybody will come back. It is not, see, in this situation is so much, the house of the deputy or minister of state for external affairs has been banned. People who are attending this meeting at this secretariat, we had seen the interviews here. The MLS have been killed. So I don't think anybody, if I'm, one of the reasons why I am hesitant to visit Manipur at this point of time, because of my physical features. If I go to the major areas, they'll presume me as a cookie, except unless I'm with the friends. And if I go into the cookie areas, they will presume me as a Meitei. And the division is such that it is unsafe for somebody who looks like a Tibetan Mongoloid to go and report there. And most of the Manipuri newspapers, including the friends whom I know from the Imphal Free Press, Frontier Manipur, etc., they do not have any correspondent. The other guys have, the cookies have asked them not to report or for this press. So division is so conflict. We have seen riots in Bodoland from 93 onwards, where the Bodos tried to create a Bodo dominated area. We have seen in Karbi Anglong, I have visited those areas. I have seen the riots between the Rabas and the Garos on the Assam, Meghalaya borders. But nowhere, you have such a population transfer. The only population transfer took place was in Mizoram, because about 30,000 Bros fled from Mizoram to Tripura, and I was the interlocutor of the Ministry of Home Affairs to resolve the issue for a year. And I managed to start the repatriation process in 2011, but then it collapsed. Then I got out of the whole process, and it never went back. The RSS fellows tried when the BJP came to power, and what was the end result? The end result was the settlement of the 30,000 Brus, which are Riangs in Tripura, and only last month they were deleted from the electoral rolls in Mizoram. All these people or their children.
So the
So,
transfer is complete.
so, so the transfer is complete, and nobody will go back to Manipur. So the center allowed that, whether it's the UPA government or the BJP government, they basically say that even if you are displaced from your homeland within this territory of India, the government has no power to send you back to your own place. So it has already taken place from Manipur to from Mizoram to Tripura, 30,000 people. You have already done that.
So
So
that's a very important point. That's a very important point. अगर ये interstate नहीं हो सकता तो state के अंदर क्या होगा?
you cannot do that. It's over. So that is why the division is over. And at certain point of time, once people go through this conflict, it would be a liability for for Biren Singh. And one of the issues, I mean, a friend of mine who is a cookie, he had a huge house in Imphal. So they all had to flee. So immediately he had to put one signboard by another major friend saying that this property has been bought by such and such Singh. Nobody should touch it. The property was saved. Otherwise, if the neighbors know it's a cookie property, they will take it over. So I think one particular factor which you always forget is that cookies have been very successful academically. So they are in the civil service, they are in the state administrative service more than the Nagas. So they had all come and settled there. And you find that is why Kuki villages more than the Naga villages in and around Imphal Valley. So all these properties have been taken away, and I don't think they are in a position. Who wants to, risk the safety and security of life to come back to live in that village? Nobody will come back. So the biggest challenge is for the government. Forget about the rehabilitation, settlement, politics, etc. Will you be in a position to bring the civil servants to serve in the Imphal Valley? And at this point of time, and for the next 6 months, the answer is no.
Brijesh, I think that's a very unique perspective given by Suhasji. Very unique perspective. He's saying that this is a transfer which is complete.
Well, it looks like that only, Karthike, because the fact is that if we go by only Suhasji is someone who's there and has been working there for a very long time. If we go by just
I'm from
a
there.
limited. Yeah, so and the thing is that as far as our own limited perspective, for the last 3+ months only goes Karthike. I think the divide is very very deep, and we have seen the transition where all our cookie friends and people like Dr. Hauke or others who had joined us, and they were talking of how they need or they demand separate administration in front of our own eyes, Karthike, and a coverage. That we have seen the demand for us from going from a separate administration to a separate state, and now there can be no negotiation about it. So we have seen hardening of stand right in front of our own eyes, in 3+ months. And I think going by Mr. Chakma's experience, what he's saying could be very true as far as this differentiation and concretization of differences between Kuki and Maitis are concerned.
Pankaj?
Well, Karthike, I would add to only 2 cents here that since these thoughts that were dormant, these feelings that were dormant, अब जिस तरह से the way they have come out has taken such a shape that it looks like there is no point of return here. And it's definitely something which none of the governments had expected or have ever expected. But the longevity of this whole divide is posing a lot of trouble for the government outside, for the state government. That's fine, but for those parents also who inadvertently are losing their kids. I saw interviews of a few of them who said कि 2 दिन पहले मेरा बेटा गया था, अभी तक घर वापस नहीं आया है. वो इंटरव्यू भी 2 दिन पहले का था. And there are so many thousands of family like that. So I always remember, a line, a couplet translated from Bengali, and it says कि मेरे रक्त भरे महाकाव्यों के पन्ने उड़ते हैं तुम्हारे हमारे इस झमेले में. There are families who are actually, losing their livelihood, losing their breadwinners, and yet there is a bigger question. So to find a solution to it, I guess the sooner the better it is. What is the solution? I know it is easier said than done. लेकिन अगर यहाँ पर हमें desperate situations call for desperate measures, if we have to bite a bullet here, if we have to go for, say, for an example, a separate administration, because I don't see there is any middle path here, because the sentiments are very high. They have come out of the embers. There are limits after which repressed emotions become dangerous. That is the saying. And this time around, the repressed emotions have come out, and we are seeing all sorts of boundaries being broken. तो मुझे लगता है सरकार को या पॉलिटिशियंस को, ब्लॉक इंडिया ब्लॉक हो या कोई भी हो, उन्हें उस फादर, उस मदर के भी चेहरे को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए, बिकॉज जैसे ही 2024 आता है, रियलिटी विल स्ट्राइक. The whole narrative, the whole coverage will shift to the national politics. कहीं ना कहीं ये मुद्दा भी पीछे न छूट जाए. अभी जिस तरह से incessantly media coverage अब जाकर बढ़ा है, let me admit. I mean, someone would say कि News9 Plus वहाँ क्यों नहीं चला जाता है? See, I mean, one thing, and I would admit it very honestly here, more than 2.5 months now, we have been discussing this issue day in and day out, at least giving the voices, learning from them. I, for one, who has not traveled that much, Brijesh, Kartikeya have been reporters, journalists on ground for a long time, now in editorial positions. But for me, I compare myself as one resident looking at this broadcast or the whole development, maybe sitting in Bihar, Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, down south in Kerala. And I had an experience, an eye-opener experience, that these are very delicate issues and they can't be, solved just by the studio debates or by visiting there. But yes, raising the right questions and showing you exactly what is happening could help. And I think we will keep doing that in the days to come also.
But Brijesh, because anyway, we will have a special broadcast tomorrow on the all-party delegation. They're meeting, the places they will be going, and we expect the statement of the prime minister at end of the vote of no confidence. That's the ultimate resort which the opposition has got down to. I'll just read out something very important to you. You know. द गवर्नर ऑफ मणिपुर इज सेइंग कि मैं मणिपुर के चूरा चांदपुर के दौरे पर हूं और विपक्षी दल के सांसद यहां आ रहे हैं, उन्हें भी शांति की अपील करनी चाहिए। उनका भी यहां स्वागत है। सो शी इज सेइंग दैट द ऑपोजिशन इज वेलकम, द गवर्नर इज सेइंग। एंड द गवर्नर आल्सो सेज कि सारे राजनीतिक दलों को एक प्लेटफॉर्म में होने की जरूरत है। और शी सेड दैट 400 न्यू हाउसेस विल बी मेड। सो बेसिकली आई थिंक the governor has taken that position which should have perhaps uh, come from the chief minister.
Well, Kartike, if you go by what the governor has said in the last fortnight, I think she has been far more forthcoming. She has been appreciative of the problem, and she has missed no word in stating the gravity of the situation which is there in the state of Manipur. She, when the video of those two women who were paraded naked and sexually assaulted came out, she openly questioned the state administration. She openly questioned the role of police and why the police didn't act the way they should have. So I think, I mean, her appeal carries a lot more gravitas right now
Okay.
because of the way, she has been voicing, and she has not been, as we have seen governors usually do, which is to toe the line of the state administration. She has not done that, and that is the reason why, she has gained a lot of, platitudes from the opposition parties as well.
Okay, I'm very thankful to you, Swahaji, to have made time on Saturday. Brijesh to you and Pankaj to you. Both me, Brijesh, and Pankaj will be here tomorrow at 11 again. If Swahaji can make time, he will also be there with us. And tomorrow we will have all the bites from the people. They will be in Chura Chandpur. We will take you through our ground reports which are going to come. Today is a political day, so our reporters are now today, instead of going to the interiors, busy chasing the whole entire delegation. So they are at the Imphal airport. But tomorrow again we're going to take you to the ground situation. And as a commitment, I said 4th May, 4th June, 4th July, it will be 4th August. You know, continuous coverage more than 90 days till we think that today is a day we don't need to do Manipur. We will continue to do our coverage on Manipur, giving you details and stories from the grounds and no narratives. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Brijesh. Thank you, Suhaji. And thank you, Pankaj, for joining me on this special broadcast. Thank you. Thank you.